Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this edition of The Spiral of Wisdom, a satsang started by the founder of the school, Ma Manize, many moons ago. Before we continue, may I request Swati to say the school prayer.
Good evening, everyone. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. So, for those who are new here, let me see if there are any new users. Okay, looks like there are no new people here. So, right, before we continue, I'll be a host for this evening. My name is Ramesh RK, and let us just transit from our busy day into the satsang. Let us become present to the inner silence, which is the most powerful language of the soul that connects all of us as souls to the Paramatma and to each other. For this purpose, to get the energies to flow through better, good to sit straight with the back, neck, and head aligned, so that the prana shakti can flow through as well and energize each of the chakras as we do the Guru Vandana. So today being a Guruvara, very apt that we connect with the inner Guru, our higher self, so that we get the maximum out of the satsang through the inner wisdom, and we practice that connection throughout the week. Because we come to these satsangs to strengthen that practice. Yeah, please sit straight with the back, neck, and head aligned. Take a nice deep breath and let go. Let the that is at the end. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. When we call upon that inner Guru, we realize that our teacher is really there within us. We can be self-sufficient. And we can guide ourselves if we choose to, while at the same time getting the wisdom from the Guru outside as well. Now, today's satsang is a topic that is quite close to my heart because, you know, as it was famously said, that in India, a life is full of celebrations. We probably have one of the highest number of festivals in the world, where every other week or month, there is a festival that we celebrate. And it looks like a waste of time for many of those who are modern and scientific to have so many festivals to celebrate. But there's a very good reason why festivals are celebrated. Historically, festivals are a time when we are kind of linking ourselves once again with Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, as she goes through her various seasons. And we also connect with our Grama Devi, or the local deity, so to speak, who represents that connection we have with the universe. in a very personal, local manner. In Kannada, we say Mannina Maga, which means the son of the soil. And why we say that is because we really are, at least a physical aspect, is really a produce of what we eat. You must have heard people saying we are what we eat. So that connection, if we have with the local environment that is provided to us wherever we stay, strengthens our bond with Mother Earth and makes us more to live more in harmony with the earth and also with each other. And this is crucial for the sustainability and the survival of the human race. So festivals are not just a small thing. If we start seeing them in this way, we learn to align with Mother Earth and with that basic aspect of humanity that we have within us that makes us a better person, which is what Mahamanizi would say. Every day you make the effort to become a better person. So our host for today will be our very own Swati. She'll be speaking about this aspect of what festivals are all about. And wish you all a very happy Ugadi, a happy new year in the traditional calendar. Over to you, Swati. You're on mute, Swati. We can't hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Namaste. My name is Swati, and I am someone who is still learning, growing, and trying to understand life a little better each day. Like all of us, I have experienced different phases in life, moments of happiness, challenges, and learning. And each of these has shaped my perspective. I believe that our traditions and festival are not just rituals, but deep sources of wisdom that guide us in our everyday life. Today I'm here not as an expert, but as a learner to share what I have understood about a beautiful topic, why festival matters. I hope we can all reflect together and take something meaningful from this session. So let us sit together and reflect on a very simple yet powerful question, why festivals matter. From childhood, we all celebrate festivals. We wear new clothes, prepare special food, decorate our homes, meet loved ones. But have we ever paused and asked, why were festivals created? What is their real purpose? Are they just traditions? Or is there something much deeper? Our ancestors were not just celebrating, they were teaching life through celebrations. Festivals are like a hidden scripture in action. They guide our mind, body, emotions, spirit. Today, let us understand this deeply through wisdom and stories, especially through the beautiful festival of Ugadi. Now, let's see. In today's life, we are always running work, responsibilities, stress, expectation. Slowly, we forget who we are and why we are here. Festival come as a pause button. They tell us stop, breathe, reflect. During festival, we clean our homes, we light lamps, we pray. But the real question is, are we cleaning only our house or also our mind? Now, let me come to a story. The man who celebrated outside only. There was a man who celebrated every festival grandly. Big decorations, delicious food, many guests. But he was always angry, restless, unhappy. One day, a saint told him, "You celebrate outside, but not inside." The man asked, "What do you mean?" The saint said, "You clean your house, but not your thoughts. You light lamps outside, but keep darkness inside. You prepare sweets, but carry bitterness in your heart." That year, during Ugadi, the man decided to forgive people, to let go of anger, to practice gratitude. Slowly, his life changed. So, the lesson of the story was to clean the mind, light the inner self. Isn't it beautiful? Now, let's talk about the Ugadi Pachdi, the philosophy of life. There is another story from the grandmother. A young boy once asked his grandmother, Why do we eat this Ugadi Pachadi? It tastes so strange, bitter, sour, sweet, everything mixed. The grandmother smiled and said, "This is life." Neem, that means bitter, sadness. Jaggery, that means sweet, happiness. Tamarind, sour, surprises. Chili, spicy, anger. And salt is the balance. She said, "If you expect only sweetness, you will suffer. Life gives all flavors, except everything." That is what I have learned being a part of the School of the Ancient Wisdom. So, the deep meaning here teaches us life is not one dimensional, every experience has value, acceptance brings peace. There's another story I remember, that is Ungrateful King. This is also one of the learning from the so far the satsangs that we have come across. Okay, let me just take you through that story first. There was once a king who had everything: wealth, power, comfort. Yet he was unhappy. On Ugadi, a saint gave him Ugadi Pachdi. The king tasted it and said, "This is bitter. Why should I eat this?" The saint replied, "You reject bitterness in taste, just like you reject difficulties in life." He continued, "You have everything, but no gratitude." The king realized his mistake. From then on, he started thanking people, sharing food, living with gratitude, and slowly he found happiness. This was the motto of our founder Ma Manise. Like she had that gratitude, she was sharing the food, and she was living with gratitude, and she was in a very good peace and happiness. So happiness comes not from comfort but from acceptance and gratitude. Not only this, we also find a scientific way why we have to celebrate festivals. Our ancestors were not just spiritual, they were deeply scientific too. Most festivals occur during season changes. During these times, immunity becomes weak, digestion changes. So, what do festivals include? Special foods, natural ingredients, detox elements. For example, if you consider Ugadi, neem that cleanses the blood, jaggery provides energy, tamarind helps digestion. So, Ugadi Pachadi is not just a symbolic, it is scientific nutrition. And here comes the very curious child story. It also happened next to my neighbors. Why do we eat neem? It is so bitter. Because your body needs cleansing during this season. So the festivals are also for health. Our traditions are science in disguise. Not only this, scientific or spirituality, there is a mental health science also behind these festivals. The festivals also help the mind in today's world, like stress is high, anxiety is common, whereas festival brings break the routine, create joy, bring excitement. Scientifically, they release dopamine and serotonin. This chemical makes us feel happy, relaxed, and connected. So, do you all agree with me? This a festival itself is a joy, enjoyment, celebration. I was even wondering why do we celebrate all these festivals? It's just a pause. As I said, it's a pause button to recollect, refresh, and reflect. So coming to this, not only this, we also we stay very far from our relatives or from our parents or from our friends, everyone. But we get to connect during these festivals. Today, people are more connected digitally, but emotionally disconnected. So this festivals brings us back to human connection. So here also there is a one example or one instance I would like to give. A family lived together but barely spoke. Everyone was busy, no bonding. During Ugadi, grandmother insisted, "Let's celebrate together." They cooked, decorated, ate together. That one day they laughed, shared stories, felt connected. That small celebration changed their relationship. So this all festivals reminds us relationship need time, not just presence. Like these Ugadi specialize or symbolizes a fresh start. A man who failed many times felt hopeless. A wise person told him, start again this Ugadi. He decided to forget past failures, to begin with positivity. Years later, he succeeded. He said, Yugadi taught me that every end is a new beginning. So it's just a courage to restart. This festival also involves cleaning, prayers, sharing. This build discipline, gratitude, awareness. Every lighting a lamp means removing inner darkness. So when we ask why festival matter, my answer would be they guide our spirit, they heal our mind, they strengthen our body, they connect our relationships. Festivals are not just celebrations, they are complete system for life. Let us not celebrate festivals mechanically. Let us understand, feel, and experience. Because the real festival is not outside, it is inside us. Let every day become a festival of gratitude, awareness, and joy. Let us accept life like Ugadi Pachdi, live with balance, and move forward with positivity. So, I don't want to take all of your time today uh, in hearing all these things. I just wanted you to refresh for a few minutes and again go back to this special auspicious day and decide what you would like to do and refresh, restart, and give a boost to yourself and spend time with the family. And it should not mean only your presence, you should spend a quality time with them. And this is a festival where all flavors of life are celebrated. So, thank you so much. I just wanted to share this message with everyone here, and I wish you a very happy Ugadi. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. So, before we continue, I'm just curious to know what is your take on what festivals are? Because I have a greater clarity on this now compared to before in my life, and I wanted to share that as well. Because whatever Swati said was excellent, and in line with that, there are other things also I would like to share, which might be quite delightful to hear to know. So, yeah, could you please, maybe Vivek and Jasmine, if you could just share what your take on festivals are? It'll be nice to know.
Sure, Namaste. Thanks.
Ajay.
Yeah, thanks for a very nice insight because I was always culturally I we don't have a very strong background, at least my immediate family, right? We
Oh,
don't have an opportunity to discuss about the speciality of each festival, but we
mm,
are, unconditionally or unconsciously being aware around their surroundings through our friends and relatives about festivals, and we are just blindly following it, right? That's
right.
oftentimes that's been the case. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, but later, as we are learning over and over through experiences, and whenever we make it a point to question ourselves, why are we doing something? And when we kindle these thoughts inside us, we are directed towards answers like these, right? So I see today as one of such opportunities. And personally, to add on to the deep insights that you shared, um, I think it's also a good opportunity to connect with our neighbors, relatives,
Yeah.
uh, taking break from our lives, from our busy lives, all the more busier lives these days. And it's an
Mm,
opportunity for us to exchange, uh, you know, talks, experiences, and pause, like Ramishti said, pause and take a break, and notice your surroundings, take a moment, and then continue with life again. So that being It was very nice, ma'am, that your session was, I felt refreshing. It makes me think positively and to bring back into presence.
Very true.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you. And
Yeah.
see, we earn all through our life, but whatever we earn, at least we must sit at one point of time. We must sit back and lean, like, okay, what did I do? And what are we trying to do? And are we, okay, earning is one part, but being with ourselves is also a very major important aspect. Okay, in order to get those courage, the celebrations are very much needed, according to me. Very, very much needed.
Agreed, agreed.
Mm. Yeah. You have to sit back and reflect, isn't it? Yes. Well, there's something interesting. And how about Jasmine ji? Anything she wants to share? What do festivals mean to you? Since it's a small group, we can really open up and participate. I wish people would open up and participate even otherwise, but a smaller group makes it more easy because each person gets more screen time.
Right.
So, anything that Jasmine ji wants to say? Okay. So while she's reflecting on that, you know, I put my son in this Waldorf school,
Hello,
which is an alternate. Hello.
even I'm there, Kashmir.
Are you there?
I'm always there.
Okay. Sorry, I think the screen is frozen. I did not get the. I don't see any change in the icon. It looks like it's still on mute. But then please do share what you think festivals are for you. What was
Well,
your perspective?
from my perspective, it's a season of giving. So
Uh-huh.
all the seasons are right now, including the Parsi New Year is on the 20th. The
Uh-huh.
Mohammedan New Year is coming, the new moon. There are 4 or 5 festivals going on right now. So I think
Right.
it's a festival of all seasons right now. So we should take them all into consideration and
Correct.
realize that
Yeah.
all of us are celebrating something new in this environment of us or any environment. And that's very
Yeah.
important to realize.
Yeah. The funny thing is, around the world, if you look at the native systems that have been followed historically, apart from Sanatan Dharma, which is and still at the moment, I think, most widely followed the way it was thousands of years ago. But if you look at the pagan rituals of Europe, if you look at the Red Indian rituals in the US, or if you look at the Aborigines in Australia, the traditional African, the Japanese, Shinto, Chinese. So if you look at these systems, they all seem to celebrate the beginning of the year around this time. You
Mhm.
know, so maybe the dates might vary slightly, but this actually was traditionally the new year. So the Gregorian calendar does not really look into those details, though it has taken inspiration, the 7 days of the week and so on. The rhythms are taken. The inspiration for the rhythms are taken from these traditional systems, but they have not recognized the deeper, human constellation connect. But traditionally, this has actually been the time when the new year starts. Now, springtime is really literally the fresh new beginning for nature. Many species of animals, they actually do have the breeding time. Of course, we as human beings, the breeding time is all through the year. But for animals, there is a specific time when it's most conducive for the birth of new life. Now, when I put my son in a Waldorf school, which is the world's largest alternative education system that is growing, it is based on this ancient dharma, and it really goes to prove that it is beyond all religion, because basically the ancient systems were not religious. It was following best practices, and anybody who had another point of view could come and debate, and if they defeat the current system, then the new system is adopted by everybody. And that really is a scientific way to go forward for humanity at large on how to make ourselves sustainable. It all boils down to love and truth. And as our ancient yogis used to say, as our ancient yogis would find out, they were basically scientists. They were not blind people who just blindly believe a guru or say that, okay, just because we always did this, then that has to be the truth, because relative truth, and I'm using the word relative truth can keep changing depending on the circumstances. Like you might have dharma, for example, which is based on cleanliness, austerity, mercy, and truth, and this might be universal, but how that is applied will keep changing depending on the time. So uh, in the Waldorf system, what they said was, it's a good idea in each house for us to keep a little table, which is like a seasonal table, and on that table we'll have maybe a presentation of the seasonal fruits, seasonal flowers, and the small little things that get us back in touch with Mother Nature. Maybe even your Ishtadeva, whatever it could be, even a puja room could be made into that kind of a place, seasons table. Now, they also mentioned that, I'll give you an example of something called nature's cycle. Now, what are nature cycles and why are they important? Nature cycles are something where if we get in touch with, it strengthens our humanity. You see, if people in the modern world, as you might have seen, a lot of digital interference, lack of the personal touch, or whatever it may be, even if they have a good logic, it may not be applied in such a way that it brings us to trupti, the inner satisfaction and joy. So, the best way to really experience that is to be in touch with nature. And if we expose our children to that aspect, then we keep them more humane. And if those children grow up to be world leaders, then they administer their community, be it a local district or a state or the country and so on, in a more humane manner. That is naturally sustainable. Because right now, if you look at the way the world leaders think, spending so much money on war and wars and other things, is extremely wasteful of resources. As you know, on a personal level, if you want to maintain a disagreement with another person, a lot of your mind is occupied wastefully in just defending yourself. So if you find a way to cooperate, a lot less energy is used. So, and different people have different standards of ethics, or the way they operate. So we have to become intelligent enough, emotionally intelligent enough, and spiritually intelligent enough to not only find the best way to operate in our day, but also to learn to observe ourselves. So coming back to this festival, I'll give you an example of the nature cycle. They said even if your child is let's say, for example, how do you expose the child to a nature cycle? For example, let's say when we eat fruits and vegetables, we can have the vegetable peels. These things can be, composted at home. It is possible. I've done it myself. It definitely is possible, even in a flat, where you can compost it maybe in the balcony or in the corner of the kitchen also. If you do it correctly, it won't smell. And then we take the manure and then we put that in the soil, and we plant these seeds. They grow up and bear fruit, be it flowers, be it fruits, and that we consume. And in doing so, we close the cycle. So this becomes a nature cycle. Now, suppose you expose a child to this cycle, what happens is they'll be, putting in the compost to the soil, and then the seeds go there. And almost magically, especially young children who are in the initial stage of growth for 0 to 7 years, when they see a beautiful plant being born from the what looks like bare soil, it's like magic. The plant grows, it has its own attributes. Like you can't expect an orange tree to produce apples. When you squeeze an orange, you're not going to get apple juice. So it has its own attributes, and that will blossom in front of you. And the process of blossoming is a magic that nature exposes you to. Like, for example, if I ask you, how do you digest your food? Do you do it consciously? No. It happens because there are a lot of these physical and spiritual laws that happen. We just know them as laws, that's it. But how the laws are put in place, where they come from, etc., we don't yet explain those details. Or how, for example, once the sperm fertilizes the egg, it starts multiplying and forms a new body, and then some of the cells spontaneously start beating as a heart. These things are not explained, they're just indicated as rules by modern science. There is a deeper science that starts becoming present to all these things. So this is the magic of nature that we're exposing a child to. Now, this is a nature cycle. What I discovered was is that festivals are also a nature cycle. Just like how a a seed is planted and the child observes when it's growing up and it learns how to nurture a new life by watering the plant with loving care, ensuring that it gets enough sunlight and so on. That aspect of humanity cannot just be taught theoretically, it has to be experienced. Now, that is what I understand festivals bring to us. So, if you look at the deeper essence, it's not just a time to party or meet your loved ones, which is wonderful, but and it's not just about, when you ask questions to the elders, they say, yeah, this is something we've always done, so that's why you do it also. It's not very convincing for me. So when I started looking at the deeper significance, I was really touched. It is such a beautiful system, and that is really what we have to become present to. And it is a nature cycle, and every time the seasons change, if there's a harvest festival, we're celebrating, basically we're celebrating various aspects of living this life. And really, festivals are the essence of that. There's so much of joy in living. There's so much of sharing and caring. That's how we connect with others, other human beings. And we realize that we're not just an individual soul, but we are a collective, souls that are actually a part of the Paramatma, which is what we get back to when we do the cool prayer or hidden life, vibrant in every atom. Yeah, so there's something I wanted to share. Does it make sense? Or does it have an impact on your way of thinking? It'll be
Yes,
nice to hear.
it was a very beautiful explanation, sir, actually.
Thank you, Swati. Because I didn't realize how powerful these festivals were. And the best part is, we can celebrate a festival. It doesn't have to be only a Hindu festival or a Christian festival or Muslim. We can celebrate with our friends. We can also celebrate Eid and Christmas. At home, we used to have a little Christmas cake, because I was brought up in a convent. So I used to sing in the church. And so it was lovely. And even now, in fact, I told my sister-in-law, my late cousin brother's wife, who happens to be the bishop's daughter, that I'd love to sing in a choral singing. So she's actually arranging for something like that. So we can celebrate, and that's how we connect with each other as human beings.
What I
Yeah.
would like to highlight or add on here is each and every celebration, but we keep it as a name like Ugadi, Diwali, Holi.
Uh,
But all these are something lessons to be learned in a human life. That's the thing the festivals have been made. And for each and everything, it's a seasonal change that has to be accepted by the physical body as well as it's a knock or it's a just a reminder for yourself ki think something new or accept it or accept the gratitude, change or bring the change or explore yourself. So that's the reason why this festival comes in our life. And every birth or every death is a matter of learning. So why the birth are celebrated, why the death is so silent, and why the festivals are celebrated, and why this culture, why this the fermentations. For example, for Diwali, they'll make a tandai.
mm,
There are the Marwadis. So they prepare this food one day before and they will have the next day. So all these customs, all these fermentations, and the Shivratri, why they want us to be awake whole night, and Ekadashi, why we should not take any food, why these rosas are celebrated, why they have to be, fasting. All these things have a beautiful significance in our life. But I never knew this. I didn't even make an attempt to understand this. But today, when I was sitting and when we offered a puja, everything, when we had a neem and jaggery, everything. After that, I asked, why are we taking all these things? What is the need? Every day we consume jaggery. What is so special that we have to take it today? But why don't we consume neem every day? That neem itself is a challenges that what we face in our life every day to day life. Whether it may be a corporate challenges in the different zones where we are working, or whether it may be a any small issue or anything that comes up your way. So then I understood, okay, this has to be spoken out. And when I got to realize on myself, I thought of sharing it today.
Wonderful, Swati. You were saying me. I didn't get that. Sorry, my connection briefly went for a toss. So, what were you saying about neem? Why,
See,
why neem?
every day we have jaggery in our food. In the
Uh,
whatever we use jaggery in that food. But why don't
right.
we use neem? That name
Uh,
itself, it's a challenges that every day we face in our life, whether it may
uh,
be a corporate targets or whether it may be a work completion, whether it may be a, the incompletion of the work, or whether the mistakes that we do and the scoldings that we get, all these things. So there is
hmm.
no neem left out in our life. So every day as we eat sweets, the neem is also present as a challenges in front of us.
Oh, okay. Mhm. Yeah. So, I think regarding this other thing, um, yeah, I remember that Ekadashi, for example, and even
Yes.
I remember
Rosa.
reading this article that if you look at the Middle East in general, you have the lowest incidence of heart attacks in the Middle East. And
Exactly.
that was, yeah, that was perplexing for the doctors. And then they found out it's because of this 1 month of fasting that it kind of resets the body. And that's where even traditionally in India, when we have Ekadashis twice a month, which I'm following to some extent, I've experimented on my own self and I found that after doing a fast, even in the partial fast where you have only water and fruits and maybe vegetables at night, no carbs. So I find the next day when I go to the gym, of late I've not been because of the house construction, but when I go to the gym, I find that I'm able to lift about 5 to 10% more without seemingly putting in any extra effort. And I know this for sure because when I look at the weights, you can see that it's accordingly higher when the effort seems to be the same. So, this is a magic formula, in a manner of speaking, for the ignorant, modern, busy person, materialistic person. That just by doing this, it is possible to actually address lifestyle issues like diabetes, heart problems, metabolic rate. There's so many have thyroid problems nowadays. So, these things can actually be addressed by intelligent and conscious fasting. It's not just blindly going and not having anything to eat or drink the next day. You have to prepare yourself accordingly if you haven't fasted before. But as we do this, it actually creates the production of string cells, which in turn reactivates the stem cells. Now, stem cells are the ones that build muscle and the other tissues, I think, and that's very active when we are till our 50s. That's why you find after the 50s, scientifically, many people, the muscles start atrophying and shrinking if you don't exercise. So this rebuilding of the muscles can happen when one fasts. So it actually can keep us younger as well. It's quite amazing. Yeah. Any more add-ons from Vivek ji or Jasmine ji?
No, brother, I'm just listening and I'm happy to listen to whatever you all have to say. For me,
Oh,
I'm a Parsi, but
uh-huh.
I celebrate all festivals because for
Wonderful.
me, when I sleep at night, I say thank you to saints and masters of all religions.
Yes. Yes.
This is how I say. So I celebrate all the festivals.
Wonderful.
So, so that's the only contribution I can make. Nothing specific as such.
That's really remarkable because when you do that, you are actually removing beyond the division of what religion seems to place on people who don't have,
Exactly.
yeah, of a higher
Yes.
consciousness, because it's essentially we are souls. And the funny thing is, in previous lives we may have actually belonged to the other. Sometimes they say that the other religion system or whatever. Sometimes they say that the one you love the most is the one, probably, like love and hate are two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
They're not the opposites.
Mhm.
So indifference is supposed to be the opposite, because you don't,
Okay.
because hate is another form of love. It's just that it's a
Uh-huh.
negative form of love. So if you
Uh-huh.
observe the people you hate the most, you also have a deep connection with them and you're triggered off easily by them. And yeah, so there is is a very intense connection also.
Okay.
It may not be as uplifting as love unless it
Uh-huh.
is seen in a correct perspective, but that's what hate is. So if we are indifferent to one another, that is when
Mhm.
there is a natural breakdown. And if you look at countries where indifference grows, you'll find the people are more self-centered and they're not community-centered. And then
Mhm.
at a family level, at an individual level, the family bonds start weakening on the whole. That,
Right.
I believe, is the beginning of the end of that civilization. Once
Uh-huh.
family bonds become weaker, then you'll have more instances of murder, robbery, rape, death. I mean, dacoity,
Mhm.
etc. And
Mhm.
law and order disorder sets in. Now, the funny thing is, as far as Bharat is concerned, we were the ones who actually, it seems ancient travelers to ancient India would marvel at how orderly everything
Mhm.
was. The streets were so spick and span, they were the cleanest in the world. There
Mhm.
was so much of, people would sleep with the doors open. That's what even Lord Macaulay had written. People here are
Mhm.
sleeping with the doors open at night. There's so much of trust.
Right.
No, nobody even
Mhm.
worries that they will get, robbed or pilfered. And
Mhm.
every community, everyone knew everybody else. It was like that.
Mhm. How lovely.
So, yes, so you can
Uh,
imagine to lose that
Utopia.
equilibrium. Yes, that equilibrium and get down to this system. If we really
Uh-huh.
remember our history, our past, there's
Um,
so much to learn from it. So,
mhm.
in this particular way, if one goes beyond the narrow boundaries of religion, which is
Mm,
what I believe was followed in ancient India, the reason
mhm.
why so many princes and kings would come from far off through treacherous sea journeys, land journeys. Those days we didn't have ships and of ships of
Mm,
this modern type and planes
mhm.
because you never know if a person leaves China or Arabia, for example, whether they'll come back. You
Right.
know, so
Uh-huh.
they used to come all the way from there to these Nalanda and other universities
Mhm.
just to learn these practices and take them back because there was such a huge advantage in simply administering their country with these thought
Wow.
processes. It
Mhm.
simply made people more rich and the country happier and more prosperous. So it is really boils down to that: what works, best practices, and
Mhm.
how much more scientific can you get than that?
Really. This
Hmm.
is so
And
informative. Thank you, brother.
yes, and in fact, if you look at the Waldorf system, it was started by Rudolf Steiner, the German, who came to
Yes,
live
yes.
in yeah, who came to live in Bharat.
Mhm.
And why am I saying Bharat and not India? Is because traditionally the name was Bharat.
Right.
And that also attaches with it all these higher ideals. So, and there is a vibration, I believe, numerologically, there's a vibration in that. Like Bengaluru apparently is good for Bangalore
Uh-huh.
to be called Bengaluru. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the funny thing was, in the similar vein, when Sri Lanka was actually a better name numerologically than Ceylon. Originally, it was called Ceylon.
Uh-huh.
So, so actually, Bengaluru and Bharat is good for good vibrations for this city
Okay.
and country. Mm.
Good to
So,
know that.
yeah, interesting. So it seems that when he came to India and he studied with Madame Blavatsky, the Russian who was a
Yes,
theosophist.
yes,
Who took
yes.
the,
I'm a theosophist, so
oh,
I'm aware.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm part of the Theosophical Society myself. So you see, when they look at the essence behind all the religions and they put it
Mhm.
together and they said we have to follow a system that is universally sustainable, they
Right.
found that this whatever Sanatan Dharma was that kind of a system. It was not
Uh-huh.
a religious. See, you could originally what we call Hinduism now as a blanket
Right.
religion was
Mm.
not as one religion. It was actually you had Vaishnavism, you had Shaivism, you had Devism, then you had nature worship. All these things are come under the blanket of Hinduism, but actually there were different
Mhm.
religions in their own right
Mhm.
in those
Mhm.
times. But they were in harmony with each other because they were all, even if you look at Shintoism or the Japanese, or if you look at the West Indians, the
Mm.
pagan rituals of Europe, Africa, and the Aborigines,
Uh-huh.
you'll find that they all came to these basic truths after years of interaction with nature, and the wise ones of those places developed these systems.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Okay.
So what they
Wow.
did was they took the essence, and
Mm.
when they put it in this Waldorf school, the funny thing was these Waldorf schools worked very well, whether it was in China, whether it was in
Mm.
India or Africa or Europe
Mm.
or
Mm.
anywhere. And why they did that is because they did not say that one has to believe only in Krishna or in Jesus or in Allah. They just
Mhm.
said whatever you name of, because there is only one. I mean, I remember one of our satsangis. She even shared with us. She came on TV about how she died, and she remembered her previous life, and she went and met the parents there, and all that stuff. Miss Mridula Sharma. She is now living in Indranagar. She's in her 80s, and her parents in the previous life also recognized her. And both the mothers from that life and this life were very spiritually inclined, so they were in harmony. So when she shared these details, that was for me a second-hand experience to what that we can probably go through many lives. Otherwise, these all this is just belief that we are given, right? I mean, I don't remember my past life, and how can I say for sure it's there? I
But then
can't.
we
But
think of karma, and then you do know that there is a past life because they say that karma hits back. Sometimes in
exactly,
this life, sometimes it's continued in the next life.
exactly. So how I've come to understand this is
Yeah. So, rather you're cut off.
no better theory, on how to accept the various things that happen to you in life, to bring your
Right.
mind to an equilibrium, and
Right.
then overcome your challenges.
Mhm.
So, and I know that, like earlier as a kid, I remember there were some people who could outsmart you, who could outfight, out debate you, and they could
Uh,
win, they could hit you, and they could win, and it's so frustrating. So,
it-
especially if your own family members do it, for example,
oh,
you
yeah,
know,
definitely. Then it
yeah,
hits.
it really hits hard because you'll think, oh no, I'm doomed to a life of this kind of an experience.
Right.
Then I later realized that actually it's because of karma and there is an ending point. It doesn't have to be forever. And it is actually a perfect system because we would have done it. Now, suppose we come to a thought that we would have probably treated the other soul in this manner, and that's why we're getting it back. It's so much more easy for us to take responsibility for the outcome of our actions rather than
That's
blame somebody else and transfer the keys of our happiness to another person.
Oh, that's well put, Brother Ramesh. Transfer the keys of happiness to another person. Okay.
Yeah, just imagine if another person scowls at you or shouts at you, whoever it may be your friend or your family member, and
Mhm.
suddenly you just feel so upset and think, my God, this person is, because of this person, I'm so unhappy.
Right, right,
Then unwittingly, we actually give the keys of our happiness to the other
right.
person, and they can turn the key whenever they want and make us unhappy.
Yes, brother. All right. Correct.
So,
Thank you.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
That was.
So then, when Rudolf Steiner came to Bharat, then he learned the system and he went back to Germany. Because of our
Mhm.
current situation, where Bharat is now a poor country, it was an extremely poor country with groveling poverty.
Uh-huh.
People always, because who can be spiritual when you are trying to make ends meet? You know,
Right.
so
Right.
you can't think of God and other things when you're trying to fill your belly and you're trying to get some decent clothes to wear and get a shelter to stay under. So it's really logical. We've got to pull our masses out of groveling poverty, and because we did not follow our own dharma of looking after one another. Because in the
Mhm.
ancient times, the basics were looked after, like what the modern welfare state.
Mhm.
The basics of food, clothing, and shelter was a given. Everybody got it. Like if you went to somebody's house and said, "I'm hungry, please give me something to eat," it was a bounden duty of that person to give them food that they
Yeah.
had. Hmm. So nobody went hungry. It's only if
Uh-huh.
you want luxuries that you worked for it. But
Okay.
basic food, clothing, shelter, there was enough and more. So what they found was when he learned of the system, he created he created what was it now? The Waldorf systems. Then he created anthroposophy. Then he created as a paragon of a good life.
Uh-huh.
They have such beautiful cities. They're also well off, and all the Western products were of such good quality and so on. But because we have forgotten or we were made to forget our own past. If you delve in 300, 400 years back, you'll discover that actually the Indian ships were the number one in the world. They would last for 20 years apparently, compared to the 12 years of the British ships. So this is only one industry I'm talking about, and it seems that we had finely crafted artisans whose family would specialize in various components of shipbuilding, and we had a very highly developed industrial system. So many people, and many people would, and for example, fine muslin cloth, the which is so famed that they would say an entire sari could pass through a ring, was perfected here in India, Bharat. Now, what does this go to show? It just goes to show that industrially they were very advanced before. And when these systems are broken down, many of these poor people who became poor because their very livelihood was pulled out from them, they were forced to become poor farmers. And how many people can farm productively? If an entire sets of populations that were involved in industry were deindustrialized, then and huge taxes were placed on them, that was an artificial poverty that was created. Now, so that's why India started looking towards the West for inspiration. And that is how this wall of systems started becoming popular even in India. So what they would do is when they administer these schools, how did it work in China, in India, in Africa, Europe, and so on, seamlessly? Was what they would do is they would take these festivals of the local people and weave it seamlessly into the education system. So if the school was located in India, we would celebrate Diwali, we would celebrate Eid and Christmas and Ugadi and other important festivals. Because they'll have a certain number of festivals that they can celebrate because for logical reasons, we can't have 40 or 50 festivals every year. Our productivity will go down, and holidays also. So maybe 12 or 15 holidays per year, they would select festivals. Now in China, it would not be Diwali, obviously. It would be their own Shinto festivals or, Buddhist festivals or Buddhist festivals. A deity, which is some aspect of the Divine Mother or the Divine Father that is worshipped. And as Swati rightly said, and Vivekji was mentioning that you along with the season, you have the seasonal flowers, seasonal fruits. So why is it powerful to make the nature stable in our house? Is because the seasons are right there. We're connecting them with them in our own house in such a way that you are connecting with the local, I mean, the seasonal colors, the seasonal flavors, all the senses are engaged in it, you know. So that is why it works so well around the world because it takes the local flavor. It does not replace it and say that no, this is the system. You have to only follow this particular deity. That is not important actually, because God comes in. There's such a huge variety in human beings. You can't have the same Krishna or Jesus or Allah, whatever, everywhere. You know, it has to be the local, what they have ancestrally connected with, and that is the best flavor for that particular region, and that is what makes the world a beautiful, richer place. And that is what is celebrated. It is our diversity that is celebrated. So that is the essence. These festivals are really a celebration of the diversity and an ode to our ancestors as well. And if this kind of a thought process is applied all around the world, can you imagine how beautiful it would be if a common denominator of honoring the local but celebrating the overall dharma, which integrates everybody and looks after everybody. It is not like one part of the world is only looked after and it becomes rich, but we take care of everybody. All the basics are taken care of. Then we won't have to spend so much on all this extremely expensive wars. Like just one fighter plane is enough to feed 500 villages, for a year. That's how expensive one Tejas is, or 250 to 500 crores. You can imagine. That's the kind of money they're spending wastefully on trying to say that my system is better than your system, which is what the
Yes,
war
brother,
is.
I agree with you.
Yeah, yes.
Anyway, thank you so much, brother. Brother, I'm a theosophist. I've told you this before. I belong to the Blavatsky Lodge of Mumbai,
Oh, I
and
see.
I'm a secretary of the Blavatsky Lodge in Mumbai. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
And
but Jasmine ji, are you the? I sometimes wonder if you're the old Jasmine who I met at this thing, satsangs.
yes, perhaps, yes, because I used to live in
Oh,
Bangalore before I was in Defense Colony.
okay,
And
but were you coming to the satsangs at Rest House Road?
where
Rest
at
House
Red,
Road?
no, no, no. I had visited the School of Wisdom once or twice long back. But
Oh,
that
I
was
see.
very long time ago. I've been in Bombay since the last 23 years. My husband was from Bangalore, Kali Kavasji.
Okay. Oh, I
So,
see.
yeah. So after he passed away, I relocated to Bombay. So I'm here. But also Ma Manize, we have a lot of things written about her, and my seniors in the lodge knew her personally. So that's something that I wanted to share with you, that she was known in our Blavatsky Lodge as well.
Right, sorry, I'm just back. I think those few seconds. Every now and then my connections go for
No,
a.
I said Ma Manise is somebody who my seniors have met in the lodge.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're not the same
Yes.
Jasmine. There was another Jasmine who was coming
No,
to
no, no,
uh,
no. This is I know Sajni and Meher Unwala and all these people.
right, right.
They're all my
Okay.
friends. Yes.
Very, very nice,
So,
very nice.
thank you,
And
brother.
Mamanisi was you're most welcome, Jasmine ji.
Yes.
I think, Mamanisi was the head of the Theosophical Lodge at Singapore.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes.
Yeah, and we don't know if it is because of her mother, but her mother was a very clairvoyant person.
I see. No, I have no idea
Very,
about that.
yes, she was Ratan Tata's
Okay.
auntie, and
Uh-huh.
she, from a young age, Mamanisi started demonstrating clairvoyant abilities. And I can say 100% for sure that she was clairvoyant because many things she would advise us and tell us
Mhm.
would come true, you know.
Wow.
Yes. And one of the reasons when we used to meet her is apart from the huge amounts of love that she would shower on us every time we visited the Thursday Satsang, which was actually healing. Like when you went back from the Satsang, you would feel
Um,
refreshed and energized.
how nice.
Physically also, yes.
Mhm.
Apart from that, she would tell us.
Mm. Brother, I also have a connection with Steiner way of education in a way that because teachers would come from all over all over the world in the month
Mm.
of May to have a session. They used to have a teaching session in my. I have a family school in Khandala,
Oh, I
so
see.
yeah, a boarding school. So they used to come there for 2 months, and
Mm.
teachers from all over the world were taught about Steiner way of education, and even the
Ah.
senior teachers of Steiner's used to come there to deliver lectures and things like that.
Very nice, very
So,
nice.
yeah.
I'm really passionate about the teaching because I feel this is, from my side, this is the best way I can contribute to the
Yes,
society.
brother. Yes,
Because if children are brought up with this kind of mindset, and they're the leaders of the future, and the best part is it's not only the children, it's the parents who can be supported to transform now and percolate this kind of awareness into the community
absolutely.
in the next 1 or 2 years. Whereas children will take a good 20 years to grow up and then contribute.
Right, right.
Mm.
Thanks, brother. It was nice talking to you.
Yes, likewise, Jasmine.
Sorry I took your time.
Not at all. I think, see, in these very small satsangs, the benefit is that we speak at a very personal level,
Yes,
and that has an immediate and personal impact in our lives.
yes.
You know, because I must tell you that when I bit, I won't show you my face because at the moment I look a little unkempt. But this is I think just kind of moved in, and I can say for sure that I'm very grateful to the
Uh,
divine and all the affirmations. It is very practical. These sessions have actually been very practical for me. This way of
uh-huh,
life,
uh,
thinking. Because when we have difficulties, normally it'll come as I mentioned. I understand in the areas of money or relationships or health. These are the three main areas where people have difficulties in life. So, how to address these difficulties? I found that belonging to a satsang group like this really empowers. It's gradual. It may not be a one-time,
right,
panacea. All our
right.
problems. It's gradual, but it definitely is something that should become a practice for society at large. Because when you're frustrated, let's say with relationship issues, which can really frustrate you, or with
Yes,
money issues that can be so, troublesome.
to a point where people have even committed suicide,
Uh-huh.
or even
Yes.
health.
So in the West, where they have counselors, counselors can only help you to some extent because they only address the mind. But how do you address at a very basic level? When you think about being the sacred level of, say, spirituality, it's a very sacred thing. It's a space where people go beyond the mind. The I believe when you say hear stories or listen to songs,
Right.
logical mind switches off, and the reptilian brain becomes active. And what happens becomes receptive. So what happens at that time is the logical part is completely circumvented, and when you pray to God and say, "Look, God's going to look after you, and everything's going to be fine," you truly believe that it will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That to achieve that level of faith and belief is the key. And once you start believing like that, you literally like it's like saying, I mean, I don't want to use this expression, but when you speak 100 lies, when you speak a lie 100 times, that becomes the truth,
Right.
and it becomes the truth for you. If you keep speaking a lie 100 times, it
Mm-hmm.
literally becomes. I remember in our affirmation classes they would say that. Now, if you say I am living in abundance, and your your mind says, "Oh, how can that be? I mean, I don't have lakhs in my bank account. I can't just go and buy something whatever I feel like immediately," and so on. That chatter starts dying down when you say, I'm truly living in abundance, and you start connecting the dots where every time you get some small excuse to experience the joy of abundance, that becomes magnified.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll actually start realizing that it does work. It might take a bit of time depending on your prarabdha karma, but it does actually work. So when you tune yourself in this direction,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we're learning over here in these spiritual classes, which is actually a practice for us to hold our vibrations.
Right.
Every day, we will be buffeted by our life during the week. Every time we come to the Thursday Satsangs or any other satsang,
Yes.
it helps us recenter. And all what those counselors do, or what those well wishers do, all those things happen here in an invisible manner.
Correct. Yes, yes, definitely. And I have a satsang in the morning every day, including Sunday. It's a Bhagavad Gita class that we attend
Oh,
on
I see.
Zoom. Yeah, it's
Ah,
Bhagavatam now. We finished the Bhagavad Gita and we are on to Bhagavatam
okay,
now. So a
okay.
different Prabhuji comes every day to give us a lecture. And I have never missed, touch wood by the grace of God, Krishna's grace. I haven't missed a single lecture in 3 years.
Amazing. Now that is something that I think only you can be grateful for, because with that kind of rhythm that you developed, a very high level of wisdom is what is being given to you.
Because my daughter lives in Canada, so even when I visited her last year, I used to attend from there at the same time.
Wow.
Synchronize the time, yes, brother. And brother, I was
Amazing.
going to ask you about your home. How is it coming up? Is it okay?
It's really, I'm now sitting in my new home.
Oh,
It is,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you. Actually, it was designed by Vani ji, who was first family. They were a theosophical family.
Uh-huh.
And her father, Mr. Krishnamurti, was very popular, and her mother too. They'd written many books as well. So they are all the first teachers at the School of Ancient Wisdom when it was started by Ma Manize. And Vaniji, literally out of her meditation, she created this design that where we're living now. And I can say that as we're living in it, I'm beginning to experience a magic in each, each nook and cranny of the house. And when I wake up, I really truly feel grateful, because in a 30-50 site, the way she's designed the spaces makes it look so spacious, and it has a grace of the olden days kind of thing. Because our grandpa had a thing in Bellary, the bungalow he bought from the British. So it has a bit of that grace in a modern setting. So I'm really grateful, and I think this happened. Like for example, when we applied for a site plan sanction, they said it is impossible to get it. They'll ask for you for a big bribe. But somehow, through affirmations or other means, I found the right people at the right time. Perhaps again through the affirmations. Actually, after 5 months, I got the site plan sanction without a bribe.
And when an illegal house is being constructed behind a house on what is supposed to be a road behind a house, that also got stopped. Touch wood. I hope it doesn't start again, but I hope it goes back to what they promised as a road in the front, a road in the back, or a park. So these things, when you start experiencing them, you start getting faith in dharma and the divine and your ability to practically translate what we hear into reality. Even for example, when my father was in ICU for sepsis in 2018, the doctors had given up all hope. 9 days he was completely unconscious, and they said there's no reason for him to be unconscious because all the parameters are normal, and if he doesn't come out of consciousness, then we can't help you. Then I went to the satsang and I requested them to send a prayer to 3 satsangs. They sent a prayer, and the very next day, the doctor said, "Look, we need your permission. There's a new narrow spectrum antibiotic. We've tried all the broad spectrum ones, the Apollo doctors, and so we'll try it on your father, but we need your permission." We said, "Okay, please go ahead." They tried it, and it worked.
Oh,
And right
wow.
in front of me, opened his eyes. And
Wow.
also, likewise, 3 years back, when he had a heart attack, again I sent the prayer to the satsang group, and lo and behold, he was in Colombia, Asia. And that to imagine, he was during the COVID time, 2020, I think it was. He had a heart attack when no beds were available, and only for emergency patients, one bed was available. And while they were testing him, they said he's having a heart attack right now in the hospital. And in the golden hour, they administered the anticoagulant. And we found Dr. Chellappa, this amazing Siddhavaidya doctor in Indranagar, who said, "I have medicine that can treat this. Please don't take him for one block." Of course, they removed the operation. The other 2 blocks, they said, "He's too weak now. You have to come back after 5 weeks." So when I sent this prayer request, he was this medicine that Dr. Chellappa gave for just 60,000 rupees saved us almost 6 lakhs, in what would have been, a 3 lakh rupee per block removal. And he didn't have to go under the knife. So in a natural way, he recovered, and the doctors were quite surprised. Now, all these things puts me in touch with the thought that, for every problem in the world, there actually is a solution, but we won't come across it until and unless our prarabdha karma, or our affirmations and intentions start aligning up with the universe. That is what I have experienced.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Brother,
Thank
please
you. And I
pray for
think I'm
my
going to leave
brother.
now. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Brother, pray for my brother. He's ill, very ill.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
So let us now come to the last section. I mean, after all the sharing that we're doing, that's why
Right.
I've said the Loka Samasta is so powerful, because we don't know the hidden power of this collective prayer. So I think your brother's name is Robert, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. I told you this last time. Yes.
Right. So Swati and the Vivekji, if you have any particular prayer request, please do speak it out, the name of the person and what issue. Otherwise, you can think of it in your heart when we say this prayer.
Okay, sir.
So, right, let's pray for Robert G. Let him recover. Let the best happen to him as per God's will, because I think that's the best way to pray for people. Let God's will be done, and let it happen soon. Let the outcome empower everybody and all his loved ones. And also, I'm saying a prayer for our house, where we want to fund it easily and pay back all the loans that we have taken easily by next year, and also to live in abundance, career settling. So this is my prayer request. So let us all sit straight with the back, neck, and head aligned. Observe the silence within. Let us also send out prayers of peace, love, and truth to spread around the world, to end these wars at the earliest. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. And once again, thank you so much, Swati, for a lovely session. I think more of us should become present to this very important topic of what festivals are, because they happen so often, and we should get the best out of it. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swati, very much. I wanted to thank you, but Ramesh beat me to it. Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you, brother Ramesh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You all.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Good night, everyone. Till next week, the same time, same place. God bless.